Okay, the book of Esther is a story about a beautiful Jewish girl living up in Babylon in the time of the kings of Babylon. And it's a complicated story, but it's a story about an old man who is her uncle, whose name is Mordecai, and Esther, whose name means star. She was a star. She was absolutely beautiful. And when Queen Vashti, the queen that was married to King Xerxes, refused to honor King Xerxes, he divorced her, and he looked through all the kingdom to find the most beautiful girl in the kingdom to marry. You know, kings could do that. They could do whatever they want. And many kings have done that in the past. In fact, Henry VIII had several wives, and he picked the most beautiful women, even though he was not that beautiful himself. Well, here's the king that chooses his special queen, the most beautiful woman in the kingdom, and her name is Esther. And she comes into his life as his wife by his own choice. Vashti is never heard from again, his previous wife. She is a Jew, and the king doesn't know that she's a Jew. She's an Israelite. And so the king has a man named Haman, who is an enemy of the Jewish people, who is a friend of the king, and he recommends to the king that the king put out a decree to kill all Jews. And he keeps pushing this, and finally the king does that. And once a Mede or a Persian, any of these Medo-Persian kings makes a rule, you can never rescind the rule. The rule always has to stay the same. And so he makes this rule that the Jews are to be destroyed, and then Esther comes in and asks him to come to a banquet. And she invites Haman, also the enemy of the Jews. They have this banquet 2 days in a row, and on the third day, she tells the king, I am a Jew, and you have put out a decree to kill all Jews. What can we do? And the king says, we have to stop this. And so he said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I can't change the law, but I can make a new law that the Jews can protect themselves, and the Jews can be armed and protect themselves from their enemies. And so the Jews end up conquering all their enemies. And the feast that goes along with this is called the Feast of Purim, because she gambled in a way that the king wouldn't destroy her. And because of her beauty and because of who she is, it says, Mordecai, her uncle, said, you may have come to the kingdom at this time just for this one reason.